The impediment to action furthers action. What stands in the way becomes the way. These are the words of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, my spiritual teacher, and the person who's had the single most impact on me as a human being since the day I was born. More influential than my parents. Marcus Aurelius is my idol. Marcus Aurelius is my role model. When Christians go through hard times, they say, "What would Jesus do?" When I go through difficult times, I say, "What would Marcus do? How would Marcus react to this? How would Marcus handle this situation? What would be his thoughts?" When I first read the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, it felt like I was coming home for the first time. It felt like Marcus was saying in words what I had felt for years. And he was expressing these things so clearly and so bluntly and so directly that I was instantly enamored with him. Now, I had been interested in Marcus Aurelius before reading the Meditations. I'd first gotten to know him through the movie Gladiator, in which he is represented by a fine actor whose name eludes me at the moment. But there was always something about the character of Marcus Aurelius in that movie that attracted me. He struck me as both a tragic figure and a heroic one. Here was this frail old man whose health was not good, spending months and months at a time battling the German tribes. Now that is a leader. Not an emperor, not a boss, not a ruler, but a leader. Marcus wasn't a military guy. He didn't have a whole lot of military experience in his background. And in fact, until he became the emperor, I don't think he had any military experience whatsoever. He was regarded as a philosopher, administrator, a wise individual, but not a military commander. So he could have easily just sent more capable generals to do his fighting for him while he stayed back in Rome or in some country estate of his. But he didn't. He was out there on the front lines. And that was very admirable for me. I really like people who lead by example. I had a boss in construction who was like this. He was actually the co-owner of the company I worked for, and he was the first big boss I ever had who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He got right in there with me, and he would do demolition work and anything that had to be done, he would do it. He didn't care. He didn't care that he was the owner. He didn't care that he had other people working for him. He would get in there and he would do it with the rest of us, and I had a lot of respect for that guy, and I still do. Shout out to Doug Sadler, East Bay Developments. They're still in business and they're still crushing it. And with good reason. With a leader like Doug, you can achieve a lot of things that other organizations and other groups can't even come close to doing. You need someone to lead, and Marcus Aurelius was a leader. Wise, just, mindful, patient, compassionate. He was turning the other cheek before Christians were doing it. And yes, maybe he did throw some Christians to the lions, but who can blame him? Christians were rabble-rousers at this point in history. They were upsetting the balance, and there is debate about whether or not Marcus Aurelius endorsed the crucifixion and murder of Christians. There's good arguments to be made that he wasn't in favor of it, but even if he was, nobody's perfect, and Marcus Aurelius wasn't perfect either. Which is what makes him kind of a tragic character, in my opinion. Because despite his wisdom, his philosophy, his high standards that he held for himself, he nevertheless made a lot of human mistakes, and he had blind spots, like everyone. In Marcus's case, his blind spot was his son Commodus, who by all accounts was a piece of shit. Nevertheless, Marcus passed the empire over to him when he died, and by all accounts, that was the end of the Roman Empire. As you probably know, Marcus was the last of the 5 good emperors, as they were called by historians. And with his passing, The golden age of the Roman Empire faded. Today, the Marcus Aurelius quote that is weighing heavily on my mind is the one that I read to you at the beginning of this video. The impediment to action furthers action. What blocks the way becomes the way. What does that mean? Well, the author Ryan Holiday broke it down a little bit more clearly in his book. He says, the obstacle is the way. Look for the point of resistance. Look for the thing that you're afraid of. Look for the negative situation, and there is the way forward. Somewhere in that negative circumstance or obstacle, there is an opportunity. There is a way to leverage the negative and to turn it into a positive. I believe Eckhart Tolle says something similar in The Power of Now. He says every tragedy contains the seed of opportunity, or something along those lines. The reason this stuff is weighing on me right now is because I'm quite certain that I'm going to lose my job very soon. And so now I'm constantly looking for those opportunities. I'm trying to look at this obstacle, this potential of me losing my job, and I'm trying to find a way through it. But more than that, I don't want to just get through it. I want to come out the other side a better person. I want to come out the other side with a better job lined up, with a more harmonious workplace. I want to take this adversity and leverage it into an opportunity for bigger and better things. And that is exactly what the Marcus Aurelius line I read to you is all about. It's about finding the way in the obstacle. It's about finding that point of resistance, that scary event that you've been dreading for months, and using it to your advantage. Transforming it into an opportunity. And that requires a very sensitive and very alert mind. A mind that is open and clear. And a heart that is still, because let me tell you something. When you've been working somewhere for 9 years and you've been contributing in meaningful ways, and then all of a sudden you're not appreciated anymore and you're not considered a valuable asset, it's really easy to get emotional, to get upset, to start making it personal. So it's really important for me that I stay calm, clear-minded, and still-hearted, if you will. And if I can stay that way, I will find an opportunity in this situation. And if I don't, I'll just keep working a different job. It's all good. There's no reason to stress about this stuff. Because a job is a job. It's a means to an end. It's a paycheck. And I can get a paycheck doing any number of things. I can go back to the construction industry tomorrow and continue to pay my bills and make ends meet. So I'm not concerned about the financial side of things. What I'm concerned with is the fact that I've invested 9 years of my time into this company, and I've made very little headway. I've made very little progress. I haven't been able to further the agenda that I believe is needed. Anyways, that was a nice little ramble. That's it for me today. Thanks for joining me again, and don't forget to live well, my friends.